Troubleshoot static and dynamic Ether channels. The whole point of having an Ether channel is bundling interfaces together so you can increase the bandwidth. With Ether channel, a spanning tree won't block interfaces that belong to an Ether channel. You may configure an Ether channel in using static mode or using dynamic protocols. It is recommended to use dynamic protocols. In order for interfaces to become part of a bundle, they must match their settings, like interface type, port mode, native VLAN, loud VLAN list, speed duplex MTU, load interval, or stamp control settings. You have two dynamic protocols. Port aggregation protocol that operates in two modes, auto and desirable. Auto and auto will not bring an interface into another channel, so you must use desirable and desirable or desirable auto. And this protocol identifies switches with a device ID that is only the switch's MAC address. It can operate in non-silent mode when you connect a device that is not port aggregation protocol capable, and you still want to keep some of the features on your side. This protocol has priority for the ports, which is known as port priority. That is an 8-bit value that defaults to 128, and your hellos can be configured at a slow rate, which is every 30 seconds, or fast rate, which is only that are sent every 1 second. The other protocol is LACP, which is a standard that can operate in active or passive mode. You should always use the combination active and active, or active and passive. Passive and passive will not bring an interface into the corresponding Ether channel. It can operate in a slow mode, which sends hellos every 30 seconds and having a dead time of 90 seconds, or fast mode, which sends hellos every 1 second and with a dead timer of 3 seconds. LACP defines a system ID for each of the switches, which is made of a system priority that is a 16-bit value, and where lower is preferred, plus the MAC address. Using the system ID, one of both switches is elected as the master switch, which will choose what interfaces will become bundled when you use the max link setting. LACP also uses a port ID that is made of a port priority, which is a 16-bit number that is also used to elect interfaces when the max link setting is used, plus the port number. You also have to choose a load balancing method in order to tell your switch to what link it will use to send each frame. An algorithm must be chosen. It depends on the topology and traffic patterns on your network. These algorithms can use source information or destination information of your frames and packets, and it can take into account the IP address, the MAC address, or the layer 4 port numbers in any combination of these. The min link settings defines a minimal number of interfaces that must be met in order to create an Ether channel. The max link settings will limit the number of interfaces that can belong to an Ether channel. In order to configure an static Ether channel, use the on parameter. In order to configure port aggregation protocol Ether channel, use the parameters auto or desirable with the additional non-silent mode. And in order to configure LACP, you have to use the parameters active or passive. Notice that you can have commands that are particularly made for the protocol, like show PHP neighbors, show PHP counters, or show PHP internal. And you can also run for LACP, show LACP neighbor detail, show LACP counters, or show LACP sysid. But you have a set of common commands to troubleshoot any Ether channel like show Etherchannel summary, show interface port channel, show Etherchannel port, show Etherchannel detail, or show Etherchannel load balance. This is the most important troubleshooting command that you will be using for Etherchannels. Remember these letters. Some letters are aimed to tell you the status of the Etherchannel as a whole, about the port channel per se, and other letters are aimed to tell you the status of individual interfaces that are being bundled together. For instance, if for the Etherchannel as a whole, if you see capital D, that means that your Etherchannel is not coming up, probably because all your member interfaces are shut down, or maybe because the dynamic protocol is not even able to negotiate an Etherchannel with the other side. You can, if you see a letter R, capital R, that means that your Etherchannel is running in layer 3. That means that it has an IP address. If you see a capital letter S, that means that your Etherchannel is running in layer mode, like an access or trunk. If you see a letter U, that means that the Etherchannel is up. That is that you want to see. If you a letter A, capital A, that means that the Etherchannel was formed by the auto lag feature. If you see a letter M, capital M, that means that your Etherchannel is not up, but and that it wasn't able to gather the amount of needed interfaces in order to reach the main links setting. Now, regarding individual interfaces, if you see the capital I, that means that that interface is not being part of the Etherchannel because it didn't negotiate nothing with an avoiding switch. If you see the capital P, that means that that interface is part of the Etherchannel. That means that it is participating and forwarding within the Etherchannel. If you see the letter S, that means that the interface is suspended. This can happen probably if the other side is in shutdown mode, or maybe the interface was not configured correctly. Some of its settings didn't match the settings that the other interfaces. If you see capital H, that happens when you configure the max links or max bundle settings in your switch. That means that you already reached the maximum number of frames that can belong to an Etherchannel, and this interface is ready to have waiting for another link to fail in order to have a chance to become part of the Etherchannel. If you see a letter W, that means that it is still negotiating with the other side. You have to wait a little and enter the command again. If you see the letter capital D, that means that that interface was in shut down. So you must enter not shut down in order to make that interface participate. See you in the labs.